Okay, you just reminded me to start recording, so I'm recording.
All right, very well. All right, well, this is call number 3 of a 5-part series that Darren Falter with our company is going to be here tonight sharing with us about, certain things in our business that help with presenting and building a business and doing what we need to be doing on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and moving forward. Afterwards, also, Darren, we're going to do a homework assignment. So
yeah. Oh, I got to follow up on our first homework assignment. You just reminded me. Thank you.
Yeah, right. So let's get started. Darren Falter, amazing gentleman, somebody that's been working with in and around this industry and this profession for over 30 years now. Wrote the book, How to Select a Network Marketing Company. Sold over 50,000 copies, 7 countries, 3 languages to be exact, maybe more by now. But over the past 2 decades, he has been consulting companies, and people have been asking him and, reading his book and determining how to find a solid and sound company in the direct sell industry. And so this has spiraled him into becoming one of the founders of the Yoli company, along with Robbie Fender and a couple other gentlemen, Bobby and Corey. So together, these guys are working together behind the scenes nonstop all the time to make our company a better company. Darren has a long list of accolades behind him, including being a mountaineer, and recently summited after several tries Mount Rainier. There we go, 14,400 feet. That's pretty good for anybody, by all means. And I say pretty good for me. That I don't know if I could make it 1,000 feet. I did walk 1,000 feet though from Verizon store, but it was all through the Skyway system here in Minneapolis. Breezy, cold day, but I did make it back okay. So I'm thankful and grateful to be here. Thank you, Darren, for showing up as well and being a part of our team here tonight and sharing with us so eloquently like you do. We're all ears and eyes for some of us, and can't wait to follow through with what you've got to talk to us about tonight. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, Matt, I appreciate that. Matt and I go way back. We met each other in the industry way before Yoli, and I've been tracking his career and his life, and just so excited to be now working with him. And it's amazing to me because when you attract somebody like Matt Levitt to Yoli, not only do you bring in somebody with tremendous talent to build the business and to grow the brand, but you bring his years of experience, his years of relationships, all of his attributes, and it's like you have this Yoli, this mass Yoli movement, and then you add something. It's like creating these creating planets. You bring in another talent, and it just adds and adds, and pretty soon you have this mass, huge object. And everybody who comes in, it expands our knowledge base, our contact base, our, all of the life experience that people bring to the table. Think about everything Matt has done in his life, and it's so valuable. But what is even more valuable is the multiplication factor, where Matt has introduced hundreds of people to Yoli who now have become a part of it, and it's exponentially growing this talent pool. All these talents, all these special skills, all the training, the knowledge, it's all growing. And the only way I can kind of describe it is, let's say you go into a room and you have a gift exchange, and everybody brings a gift. And the idea is that you're going to exchange the gift with somebody, and they're going to give you a gift. Okay, so everybody brings one gift, and you exchange it, and you go home. Everybody goes home with a gift if they do the math right. If you partner up right. If you go into a room with an idea, and you exchange those ideas, you can exchange with more than one person an idea. You could come away with 99 ideas. And exchanging only one idea, you can come away with 99 from that room, because you got 99 other people in there with ideas. You could go and exchange 99 different stories of your life that benefits somebody, that inspires somebody, 99 inspirational stories. You could exchange 99 pieces of how-to information, how to do something, knowledge about how to do something, how to create something, how to do a skill that you don't have yet. 99 new skills. So think about the power of bringing these leaders together. And when Matt joined our team, he enriched Yoli to a new level. So thank you, Matt, for being here. Thank you for your leadership. I want to jump in tonight. We're not going to go all as long as I took you really long last week, and I apologize for that. We're going to condense it a little bit tonight. But I want to talk about two things specifically. Every week we're talking about an aspect of why Yoli is the best company for you to join as a home-based business. So the first 2 weeks we talked about product industry, Uncle D's billion-dollar product formula. Do you remember the 7 attributes? Every criterion unlocks the vault to success. ECU TVTS. A company is, or a product, if you want it to be a billion-dollar product and you want to grow your business and expand it exponentially, a product needs to be emotional. It needs to be consumable. It needs to be traditional. It needs to be unique, valuable, timely, and stable. Now, you don't need to write any of those down because that's the first training we did, and it's on YouTube. And Matt's going to share the link with you. Aren't you, Matt?
That's right.
That's right. Okay, so you can go and watch that, and you'll get all that information. And then we talked about the skill of creating a list. Now, I didn't follow up on my homework assignment that first week. Somebody reminded me, they said, I did my homework, and she gave me her 50 names. I asked you to create a list of 50 more names. How many people did your homework? I'm going to scroll real quick. How many people did your homework? Oh, look at those hands going up. Look at that. Oh, look at these lists coming out. Oh, yeah, look at that. I love the compliance. Excellent. Oh, look at that. Oh, my goodness. You guys are great. I'm so impressed with that. Very, very good. So if you didn't do your homework, make sure you do it this week. That is, add 50 new names this week to your list. Now, for those of you who added 50 names, add 50 more names. I'm so bad. I'm horrible. Never stop. Let's put it this way. Never stop adding names. I'm not going to look at your list and see if you have 50 new names by next week. I just want you to keep adding to the list. Maybe you've got 100 names you could add this week. But if you've got names, add them. And I'm not saying that you need to approach these people this week, but put the name on the list. It sparks your memory for another name, or maybe 2 or 3 more names. You put those names on, it sparks your memory for a few more names. Always keep adding to your list every single week, and you will grow your business. We talked about last week, our second training. We talked about the proper timing for joining a business. You know, when to hit that momentum instead of joining during the beginning pioneering phases of business where a company will go out of business or tank. You want to join, wait for the company to hit that momentum curve, that hockey stick, and join on the way up. You want to join as a company's like an airplane taking off, not like an airplane coming in for a landing. You don't want to join during that time. You want to join while the airplane is taking off, going up, okay? And that's exactly what you did. Many of you didn't even know this. You waited long enough where the company created the momentum. You joined at the beginning of the momentum, and now you're experiencing the brilliance of momentum growth, okay? So that was their second training, and then the skill that we worked on there was inviting. And we used the script, didn't we? We used the script book because there's lots of inviting scripts in Uncle D's script book. If you don't have the script book, get with Matt. Matt has a place where he has posted it so you can get the scripts. And again, I handed out Uncle D's script book, and guess what? You can't have it. You can't use it. Remember?
Right.
You can't use it. And the reason you can't use it is because it's not yours. It's mine. You need to take my script book and rewrite it so that you have it in your language, the way you say it, not the way I say it. Because if you say it the way I say it, everybody's going to say, why are you talking like Uncle D? That's weird. It's like your mouth is moving, but Uncle D's voice and ideas and accent, and you know, the way he talks is coming out of your mouth and it's confusing me. Don't talk like Uncle D. Don't talk like Matt Levitt. Don't talk like Brian. You need to talk like yourself. So write your script in the phonetic language that you would use to talk like yourself. And when I say phonetic language, write your scripts out the way you'd say them, not the way you'd write them. Because writing is kind of a formal process. But when you write a script, you want to write it in the way that you say words so you sound natural. For instance, if you were to transcribe everything I said tonight, it would not be proper English. It would be run on sentences. Punctuation be all messed up. It'd just go on and on and on. There's no ending to anything I'm saying. It just keeps flowing on to the next thought because I'm talking, not writing. So if I took and I transcribed that, that's what I want you to do. Write it like you would talk to somebody naturally and comfortably, you know, express an idea, not the way that you would write it into like a formal English paper. I will not give you any points off for horrible grammar. I just want it to sound natural. Make it sound natural to them so that they don't think you're trying to pitch them on something. Okay, so tonight, real quickly, we're going to cover two topics. One is the third idea for why Yoli's the best home business, and that is compensation plan. Compensation plan. I promise you. Now, let's talk a little bit background about the compensation plan. When we created this plan, we brought together several of the world's top gurus in building compensation plans, and we paid them some money so that they could help us build this compensation plan. We put them in one room together, and there's some arguments. There was some heated discussions. There were some disagreements, but there was a lot of things that they agreed upon, and the things that we agreed upon ended up becoming the compensation plan. There were people who had designed plans for multi-billion-dollar companies that are still around today that have stood the test of time, 30, 40, 50 years in business. And what we did is we took the #1 compensation plan on the market when we started the company, and we improved upon it. We improved upon it. We made it better. We sat distributors from that company, distributors who had been making lots of money in the company, and distributors that weren't, you know, were just entry-level people in the middle. And we interviewed these distributors, and we said, listen, what do you love about your compensation plan? And they told us. And they said, what do you not like about your compensation plan? And they told us, okay? And we made those changes. We made those specific changes to make sure that we had the best compensation plan possible on the market. And here's a couple of examples of things that we changed in the plan. In one of my compensation plans, and this, it represents like 70% of the plans on the market. A compensation plan is designed to give you the right incentives to make the right, take the right actions to build your business. I want to incentivize you to do the right thing to build your business so that you can make lots of money in this business. I want you to make a living in Yoli so that you can transform lives all day long instead of going to a job you don't like, instead of working you know, another business that's not working out. Instead of doing any other thing, I want you to be able to make a living transforming lives so that you can focus on Yoli either part-time, really part-time, or full-time, or even beyond full-time because you have such a passion for it. So in order to do that, it has to have, the compensation plan has to be phenomenal. It has to be phenomenal. So here's an example. Most compensation plans on the market have maybe about 7 different levels of recognition for the whole plan. I'm talking from the very beginning to the end, and that was a company I was previously involved with. Was a very popular, multi-$100 million company, very popular company, and the compensation plan had 7 steps to the top, you know, basically to Black Diamond. Now, we haven't had anybody earn the level of Black Diamond, but this compensation plan had a Black Diamond level just like ours, and it had a position like bronze in the beginning. So bronze to Black Diamond in 7 steps. When you take a compensation plan and you divide it only into 7 steps, here's a problem with that. You're going to have some people who come to conference and they're a level 3 out of 7, they're level 3. Okay, out of 7, they're level 3. And the next conference, they're a level 3. And the third conference, they're a level 3, because it's hard to go from 3 to 4 because it's a big jump. Go from 3 to 4, it's a huge jump, and it's discouraging when after year they come to conference and they're the same level. So what we did is we took those 5, 6, or 7 levels that most companies have, and we broke each of those levels down into 3 to 5 levels. Folks, if you're having some background noise, hit the mute button on your Zoom so we don't get any background echo. Oh, that's good. Thank you. So, so how many levels do we have? Does anybody have an idea of how many levels we have in Yoli from the very beginning of the plan, from a believer, all the way through to, say, triple black diamond? I'm just going to count them in my head right now. We've got believer. We got 5 levels of bronze, silver, and gold. That's 16. We got 3 levels of ruby and emerald. That's 6 more. That's 22. We got 3 levels of blue diamond, or no, 3 levels of diamond. That's 25, 26, 27. 3 of 29, 30. So it goes up to 30 for just the blue diamonds. And we got 3 more for black diamond. 33 levels. That's over 3 times as many divisions in the compensation plan. And the way I look at this, it's kind of like going, let's say I told you, let's go to the park and let's go climb that mountain over there. It's a big mound, it's a big hill, maybe a couple 100 feet of elevation gain. Let's go up that hill. And on one side of the park, they have a staircase, but the steps are 10 feet high. How many families, children, parents, toddlers are going to be able to climb that mountain when the steps are 10 feet high? You'd have to push people up, pull them up. It'd be dangerous. It'd be difficult. You get on people's backs. You have to use ropes, harness. It's really challenging to climb up these 10-foot steps. And so not a lot of people do it. It's dangerous. It's hard. And so they just leave that alone. They go to the other side of the park where each of those 10 steps is divided into 10 steps. So now how do they get up to the top of the hill? They just climb the steps, 1 step at a time, step after step. It's like the movie, What About Bob? Anybody ever seen What About Bob with Bill Murray? And he goes into the psychiatrist's office. He's kind of this mental case, and Richard Dreyfuss plays this doctor, and he says, just baby steps. It's like his book, baby steps, baby steps. And so Bob says, baby steps, baby, I can do this, baby steps. And he goes out of there believing in himself, because all he has to do is take little baby steps. He doesn't have to do big leaps, just little baby steps, and he can have success. That's one thing that we did to the compensation plan that was revolutionary. Out of a dozen things that we added to the compensation plan to improve it over the plan that was already successful in the market. We just interviewed top leaders and said, what would you change to the plan? How would you make it better? We got the feedback, and then we made those changes. So if we have more time sometime, I'll go through some of the other things we did to make sure that the compensation plan was excellent. Okay, so, but just the reason I mentioned that, I want you to know that you'll never understand every nuance of this plan. You'll never have all the history, all the details of how it was built, but just know that we know how to build compensation plans. Know that we have the confidence. We absolutely understand all the different types of compensation plans, the binary, the breakaway, the unilevel, the matrix, the 2-up, the 1-up, the 3-up, all the different plans in the market. Which one did we choose? Why did we choose a binary in the front end and we choose the unilevel in the back end? Why did we combine those together into what we call a hybrid plan? You don't need to understand any of it to get paid. You need to know that we know what we're talking about when we do compensation plans. I spent my whole life and career building comp plans. I was consulted for years on building comp plans. When I joined Yoli and started building with the guys, I was actually consulting for a company. They were paying me $10,000 a month to help them build a new compensation plan for their startup company. Imagine me, you know, this guy who is starting a new company. I have to sell my old organization so they don't take it away from me. So all my income from my career, my whole lifetime work is gone because I'm selling my organization so I don't get it taken away. I'm consulting, I'm getting $10,000 a month, which my wife's saying, yeah, $10,000 a month, that works for our household. That's going away because I have to call them and say, listen, there's a conflict of interest. I need to back out of this contract. And so I literally called them and said, I need to stop getting paid the $10,000 per month so I can spend all my money and put it into Yoli to start this business. So not only did I cancel all my consulting work, but I invested all of my life savings into building the Yoli business. That's how much we believed in this business. All my partners did the same thing. We put it all on the line. It's kind of like that scene from Casino Royale with James Bond. He takes all the chips at the end of the movie and he pushes it into the middle. I'm all in, you know. Imagine that. You just, everything on the table, we're all in, you know. We were all in. You know, we didn't have any other moves. We didn't have any exit strategy. We didn't have any kind of a plan B. That was plan A was it. And we were so confident that we could make it work that we put it all on the line. So just know that we know that the compensation plan works. And just one more thing I want to say about the comp plan. And we've gone over this diagram before, and we're going to do it again. I did a training on comp plan for the Monday night call with Yoli probably 2 months ago. And well, within the last month and a half. And it went into specific detail about, you know, horizontal versus vertical. When you have a horizontal plan, like a unilevel plan, it's really great because people, when they come into the business, they're all stacked right underneath. So if this is me, and these are all my people that are signed up here, they're all on my front line. You see that? But the problem is, if this is my mother, and this is my brother, and this is my sister, and you want to put them on your front line, because if you don't, if you stack them like this, like a binary, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. You're going to really limit the money that you make from the people you're bringing in and working so hard to build, because you don't stack in a unilevel plan. And so you stack them all flat, you put them right to you. And the problem is, this person does not work with this person, does not work with this person, does not work with this person. They're all in different businesses. They're all competing with one another. So a unilevel plan can be very lucrative for me because I got all the money flown up to me, but nobody works together. Nobody has any synergy with one another because they're put on different teams. They're all working against each other. But it's very lucrative. It's a great plan for making money. Now, if we go into the binary plan, where all of a sudden mom is here, brother's here, sister's here, Aunt Betsy's here, and they're all on the same team because they're placed underneath one another. Aunt Betsy makes a sale down here. She gets paid, he gets paid, she gets paid, I get paid. Everybody benefits because they're stacked underneath one another in the binary plan. I love having a binary plan front end where we put everybody down in these long vertical streams, because everybody has incentive to build on the same team. If you have an office lady who you know is going to love the product, she's going to get on the transformation kit, she's going to lose weight, she's going to tell everybody in the office. You want all the people in that office to work together. You want them stacked underneath each other. You want to take personal sponsorship on everybody that you're responsible for recruiting, but you want to stack them underneath each other so they all benefit from the same volume. And they're all getting excited together because they're on the same team. Your family tree, you want to put them all underneath one another so they create synergy and benefit for everybody. Everybody in your church, don't put people on different legs in your church because you want to put them all on the same team so they benefit each other. Try to personally sponsor as many people in every organization that you can and put them underneath one another in that group, in that specific organization, so they can create synergy and build your business. And if you can identify 4 different groups, like your church group, your family group, you know, those 2 legs, your office group, and maybe all of the people from your, let's say your high school reunion's coming up. You stack all those people from your high school reunion that you approached down under here. Now you've got 2 or 3 or 4 different groups identified that are compounding those two. You only need 2 legs, just 2 legs to create that incredible volume. So if you don't understand that process, it might be a little confusing for anybody who's brand new. Just know that we know how to build this plan. Matt knows how to build this plan. Consult with him, consult with your upline diamond, and they can show you the optimal place to place new people in the business so that they can have benefit. So what you're looking for in a compensation plan that is the best paying plan on the market is a couple of things. Number one, you're looking for a plan that is what we call synergistic. We mentioned that word several times today, meaning that everybody can work together and build together. That's why we have that binary plan, that vertical plan. Number 2, it's fair. I can't tell you how many compensation plans I've been involved with where I had to literally walk away from the company months later after I told everybody about it because I found out the comp plan wasn't fair. It was giving too much money to corporate. It was giving too much money to the distributors and not enough to corporate to keep it alive. It was they were continually reducing the percentages instead of having a consistent amount of money going into the plan. Over the course of a year or 2, they were consistently reducing the commissions to give more to corporate and less to the distributors over time. Other things where, you know, there's just so many scenarios where it's not fair. There was a compensation plan that I was in where I was in a binary and I placed somebody down below in my organization because it was the only place I can place them in the binary. It was all full, you know, hundreds of people. This person was a friend of mine, close personal friend of mine, who ended up building an organization into the millions of dollars in volume. And guess how much money I made from that person that I brought in? It's my personal friend, personally sponsored, placed in my organization. $1 million in volume over the course of the first year. I got 0 because they were beyond my pay levels in that particular plan. Is that fair? No, and the reason it's not fair is because they didn't understand how to put checks and balances in place to make sure that never happened. They never even occurred to them that what if somebody brings in somebody past the cutoff on the income for that particular leg per week, and they're responsible for them, but the maths is set up so that they don't get paid on it. They said, well, we can't do anything about the programming now. Maybe we'll fix that in the future. Well, that's not an answer. You have to be thinking ahead and make sure that whenever you bring somebody into the business, you get paid on them. And the more people you bring into the business, the better you're going to do. You're going to have a bigger check because you're the one who brought in more people than someone else. One thing that makes a plan legal and lucrative is the fact that you could have somebody like Brian come into the business after Matt, and you could have Rhonda come in below Brian after Brian comes in after Matt, and Rhonda could end up making more money than Brian or Matt because of how she structures her organization, how many people she personally sponsors. There's got to be a fairness in place where the last person who comes in can literally earn as much, if not more, money than the first person who came in. And that's the way a legal, ethical, and the best compensation plan is set up. Okay? So fair, synergistic, lucrative. Those are the 3 things that a plan needs to be. Yoli has those in spades. And also, just a prerequisite, by the way, you have to have in a compensation plan a plan that is legal, which is completely checked out by, you know, by consultants who understand the legalities of comp plans. You know, it's easy to do, but you've got to know the people who can check out your plan, make sure it's completely legal, and have the attorneys look at it. And the last thing is it's a plan that is proven. I would never invite somebody who is a friend of mine, like somebody I met, like Matt or Rhonda or Dawn. You know, I would never invite Nancy or Julie or any of these individuals. Susan Eichler is a good friend of mine. I'd never invite her into a compensation plan that I didn't know was proven in the marketplace. It's got to be proven. It's got to be something that's already made money for years and years and years. I don't want to experiment on my friends with the new pay plan that hasn't been proven, because there's so many nuances that you discover once you start getting paid that aren't working properly after you've experimented and using your distributors as guinea pigs. And we don't do that in Yoli. We don't use you as guinea pigs to try to figure out our comp plan. We use a comp plan that's so proven in the marketplace already that there's no question as to its fairness, lucrative nature, and synergy, so that you can have all that taken care of. Okay, so enough about that. I've beaten that horse enough. Let's talk a little bit about our process. So we talked about creating a list, inviting. What's the next step? Can anybody share with me the next step, if you want to unmute, in our in our income producing activities? Once you create a list and you invite, what's the next step?
Presenting.
Presenting. Okay, so how do we present?
There's a number of ways we can present.
Okay, tell me about them.
Well, Susan Eichler figured out Zoom when we had bad snow, and they're awesome.
So you can present this way right here. As a matter of fact, I don't even like doing these trainings. I would rather be doing a party right now. So you guys need to invite me to your Zoom parties.
Okay.
I'd love that.
Will do.
So Zoom parties, live parties, individual one-on-ones. There's so many ways that we can present this message. And so we're inviting. So does it need to be a formal invitation, like a beautiful rice paper, hand calligraphied, vellum over the top with a little brad poke through and some, little squirrely little strings coming off with glitter? Does it need to be an invitation like that? Does there need to be a big spread of food, big potluck, or, sometimes we do special things and there's no problem doing something as an exception, but as a rule, make it simple. Make it simple and duplicable, so everybody looks at it and says, I can do that. Everything you do when it comes to presentations should be something that people look at and they say, I can do that. I can do that. I can totally do that. I can push play on a DVD player, or I can push play on a company website link to the video, or I can pull those onto my computer ahead of time because I know how to do it. So simple. She showed me how to do it. Everything needs to be streamlined and simple, or you need to help them, walk them through the process of doing it. Presenting is nothing more than practicing the process of introducing people to Yoli. You got to practice just like you're doing the real thing. It's like day trading. If you were on the stock market and you wanted to start making money selling stocks, you don't just jump in with a bunch of money and spend $100,000 on stocks and hope it works out. You're going to lose money. And everybody in the stock market loves people that are ignorant coming in with a lot of money, because they're going to take your money. They're going to take your money because they know how to manipulate the numbers to get it. It's kind of like Vegas or something. They know how to put the numbers in their favor. If you do a bunch of day trading or paper trading, which is basically fake stock market trading to learn the process, you're playing with fake money, but you can show what kind of results you would have had if you put real money in. And once you're making money consistently over the course of months or years, you're ready to put real money in. Well, we don't have that kind of time, years. We have months, we have days. We need to make sure that everybody's learning how to do a presentation outside of a real presentation, or they're observing a real presentation and not giving it yet. They're sitting in, watching. Pretty soon they're doing one little task, two little tasks, three little tasks, and then they're fully engaged in the process. Now, I don't want to go through the whole process of how to do a party tonight, because that's something you can do in your own trainings. I want to share with you the most important parts of a party, the most important parts of a presentation, the thing that's going to make a huge difference in your business. And I'll tell you right now, if you want somebody to be a customer and you get them to a party, or you get them to an individual presentation, or you get them to a group presentation, group party, the number one factor in determining whether they're going to be a customer is what? What's the number one thing you can do at that party that's going to influence their decision to join?
Share a story.
Story, your story. It's your story. Now, here's a question for you. What if you're doing a one-on-one? You're going to share your story, right? What if your story doesn't really resonate with them because you're a mid-40s female, you're talking to a young mom, and she just doesn't relate to your age group, and the fact that you're maybe you're an empty nester at 55 and they're a brand new mom and they just don't connect. Or it's a man who is a different age category, different ethnicity, different interests. You're just not connecting with your story. Your story's great, but when you're doing a one-on-one or you're doing a two-on-one, like you have two members talking to one person, how can you connect with somebody who's different than you, who has different needs? You've done the work. You've asked a lot of questions. You listened. You found out about the person. That's brilliant. Now, what do you do as an individual? What can you do?
Share somebody else's story.
Share somebody else's story. Now, one of the best ways that we can do this, and I've shared this before, and some people took me up on it and many people have not. You corner people that have really good stories at events, and you get them to create a video on your phone, a little video. You might even have a video that you get and you pass, hey, can I pass it out to my team? They put it on their phone, and you know how like on an iPhone, I'm sure it's the same on the Galaxy, you can organize your picture album into different albums. And so you can create your testimonials album, and then you can label everything, or you can just remember, because you've got like 12 of them now, you can remember who's giving what. Oh, I got a video you need to watch right now. And we're talking 1 minute testimonials, 2 minute testimonials. And you say, okay, I gotta set this up. Stephanie is a young mom like yourself. She was working 5 hours a week. She was struggling. Her husband's a busy chiropractor. She needed to lose 30 pounds. She was depressed. She was feeling like she wasn't connecting with her husband because they were so busy all the time. And so you set up the story a little bit. I want you to see what happened to her. Don't tell her the answers. Just set it up a little bit. Say, you need to see what happened with the Yoli program. So then you turn it on. So she's curious. She's all ears. She's just focused on this thing. You put her, you're at a table at Starbucks. Put it on headphones. Put it on noise canceling headphones, and just have them focus in. And here's this young mom. She's getting teary-eyed over telling her story about how she lost 30 pounds. She gained her confidence back. She had an emotional transformation along with physical. She was able to go part-time at her job and then eventually quit a year later and go full-time Yoli. Her husband and her started working together on the company. So they have a connection. They have something to work on together. They feel closer than they ever have, on and on and on and on. It's your job to go seek out those best testimonials. And maybe you interview somebody and say, hey, thank you, that was great. And you go back and look at it and you're like, there's nothing here. It just doesn't move me. It's not emotional. It's not connecting with anybody. Or maybe it connects with somebody who's totally different from you. And maybe you could ask somebody else's opinion on it. But all you need to do is collect maybe 12 of the best. You interview 20 or 30 or 40 people, you keep 12. And those are your go-to videos. And maybe at this Starbucks, you're going to share 1 or 2. But I'm telling you, your testimonials will determine whether they buy or don't. Those stories are so powerful. Just like our speaker at conference. I always forget her name, Kendra. So Kendra Hall, our speaker at conference, Kendra Hall, she shared a simple story and it stuck with me. I can remember every detail of her story. I can tell it to you verbatim. I can tell you why it's important. I can bring up the emotions that she brought up because of how powerfully it touched her. My story is going to be more emotional than that because it's mine, and I can bring up my personal emotions about it. But there's just so many great stories out there that people connect to, And your job is to be a matchmaker of the person to the story. Connect them. Don't be the hero. Don't be the person who has to have all the stories. You don't have all the stories. I'm going to tell you right now, and people don't connect to you. Lots and lots of people do not connect with you. You know that. You know, you're trying. I'm trying. Sometimes I can't get my own parents to listen to me because I'm their son, and they've seen me fall down, skin my knee. I come to them for help. But Mom, Dad, I need some money. I'm at college, you know, cough it up. And so they have this relationship where they see me at my worst. They see me as this little boy. They see me as somebody who was struggling financially in the beginning. So I don't have that credibility, that respect. And so my story is not going to have an impact on my parents. I need somebody else. I need Teresa's story for my mom. And I need Tom Foster's story for my dad. Tom Foster would get along so well with my dad. You wouldn't even believe it. They both wear hats. You know, they love hats. About the same age. They just would connect. And so I don't have any credibility, but Tom does with my dad, because he's a likable guy. He's got a great personality. He sings. He has funny stories. My dad loves all those things. But most of all, he has this incredible testimonial that's going to connect with my dad. And finally, my dad's going to stop going Weight Watchers and this California diet and he does, you know, flavor of the month. My dad does. He's a yo-yo dieter, and I'm not going to get him off of that. I talked to him blue in the face, but Tom will. And if I follow him up with having Matt call him, and I follow him with having Brian call him, and then I have Roger call him, you know, it's just going to compound it. It just compounds it. It's amazing what happens. And so you've got a couple of different options. You've got the video that I take. You know, I go corner Tom at an event and say, Tom, here's what my dad's all about. I know you're going to connect with him. Just quick little video, and here's a few bullet points to include in the video. Tom starts off by doing a little edification of me. So, you know, he connects me to my dad, or connects me to whoever I'm trying to have him record to. And actually, it'd be better sometimes not to even specifically mention a name, so you could keep using that video over and over. Or you could record two. I'm sure Tom wouldn't mind. And so he records the video, and now I have it in my archive forever. Anybody who connects like my dad, I'm going to use that video for them as well forever. I'm going to play that video over and over and over again until it absolutely is memorized in my brain. I know exactly the content of every video I have on my phone. And then if you need a special connection, find somebody on your team who would connect with your prospect and do a connection call. Find somebody upline, find somebody crossline, find somebody in your team. And that's the most important aspect of the presentation, is the stories and the connections they make with human beings. This is not a business about a product in a white container, or in a cylinder, in a jar. This is not a business about the box of hope. This is not a business about a corporate headquarters in Salt Lake City, Utah. This is a business of people helping people, people loving people, people belonging to people, people sharing a common purpose with other people. And if you can remember that, if you think first in your mind, Darren, remember, when you go into this party tonight, it's about the people. It's about the people. It's not about this product. Push the product to the side. It's not about the sample. It's not about the video. Those are all pieces that we're going to play, and we're going to do it in order, just like we always do, so we can keep it duplicable. But that's just, it's a setup. It's a setup for the story. It's all leading, funneling into the story. And the story is about connecting people with people. If you can remember that, it's golden. And, you know, I was in a Jay Abraham event recently. Well, not recently, it was a long time ago, but I keep up with Jay Abraham. And he says, if I can just get this one thing through your head, just toss your product brand, forget about it, forget about the fancy box it comes in, forget about your logo, forget about your Yoli swag. I just want you to focus on, and just close your eyes and focus on your people, your customers. Fall in love with your customers. Fall in love with your customers. Fall in love with your member. And your members are your customers. So your customers are your customers, but your members are your premium customers. So you fall in love with your members, and you serve them, and you help them, and you don't do things for them, you do things with them. You show them, and then you let them do it on their own. You teach them and mentor them to their own success. And that's how you love them. You love them truly by helping them be self-sufficient. But if you can learn that one lesson, that will change your business and it'll change your life. Love people. Put people first. Push them to the top. Forget about the product. Forget about the brand. Forget about the comp plan. Push people up, and your business will flourish. Okay, so we have the testimonials. We follow up, we answer any concerns. There's going to be concerns, there's going to be things that come up, but guess what? They're all the same concerns they've always been. And we have answers for that. We have a script for it. On Uncle D's scripts, I'm not going to go over it tonight because we don't have time, and I think I'm starting to get over my time again, just like I said I wouldn't do. Where's my clock? Okay, yeah, I'm over what I wanted to do. I'm still not over my time, but I'm over what I wanted to do. So I would say focus on, so getting Uncle D's scripts, and there is some language in there for the follow-up process. There's language in there for the presentation process. There's some scripts that I want you to go through this week. This is your homework. Go through the whole script book, and I want you to pull out at least 5 scripts that you find in that script book, and I want you to rewrite them for you, and I want you to be willing to share them not next week, because next week I'm going to be at Transform U coming back, and so we're going to have a guest speaker on in my place. I'll be on an airplane next week. Or, Matt, one thing we could do is just postpone that week so I can keep continuing the weeks properly if you want to do that. So you could have just a regular week next week if you want. Would we prefer to do that, you think?
Yeah, I think let's keep you on with let's do, we can do the last 2 that you have, keep you in that loop.
Okay.
Okay. We can do an actual conference call.
Yeah.
Monday night.
Okay, and what you could do a follow-up on Transform U.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's perfect timing. So do that. I'm going to be on a plane coming back, so it just kind of timed wrong for my flight. But so do that, and then I will come in and teach the 4th class that following Monday. And at that class, you got 2 weeks to get this done. 5 scripts rewritten for your language, and I'm going to pull a few of you out of the audience to share how you say the script. You're just going to read it, but you're going to say it in your words, in your phonetic language, the way you would say it, and point out to me the changes you made. Say, well, Uncle D, I love the way you say this, but I wouldn't say it like that. It sounds weird. I think it's high pressure, or I think it's not pressure enough, or I think that, you talk funny. Just tell me the reason that you changed it so that we can be enlightened about how to personalize a script, because personalizing scripts that you get from your trainings is one of the best skills that you can learn, how to create a really emotionally highly connecting script, a very vulnerable script without sounding like a pitch. It's got to sound very natural. So anyway, that's it. I almost went over time, but I didn't. And I got some homework out there, so that's good. So thank you for having me this week. I love being on here. Next week, we're going to talk about management team in a company, why that's critical. And then we're going to focus in on the follow-up process and then a couple other kind of inspirational messages next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful week.
Thanks, Darren.
Thank you.
Bye. Good evening. Thanks,
Good night,
Matt.
everybody.
Bye.
Hey, bye.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
We'll see you transform you.
There you
Thank you.
go.
Bye-bye.
Bye.